Nation! Welcome back. Welcome back
Bienvenidos.
to us. Bienvenidos. We're in Costa Rica. And we've been missing you. No, we've been missing just getting on and sharing about life and all the wondrous beauty of it and just being here and having a great time.
We figure what's a better time to get started again than right now.
That's right. When would now be a good time? Great question. So yeah, that's what we're doing. We're getting on here, gonna just start just rapid firing. Remember Fun Friday free-for-alls? Well, it's not Friday.
It's Saturday.
But it's fun and it's a free-for-all and we're just having fun with this. So I'm just gonna talk to y'all about life and things that we're passionate about and care about and want to share. So what's the word of today?
What's the word? Well, just a second ago we were talking, we were thinking of reflecting back about before we kind of been on this really expansive journey the last several years, like what was life like? We said 6 years ago, so call it like 2019. And Reed was sharing just like some cool comparison of not like in a judgmental way, just like, wow, I've really made some different choices in my life. And it was great. And I was like, you know what? This reminds me of what we used to talk about and share with others. And I just thought it'd be a great way to kick us off about what shift have you made? You're really contrasting between the two. Like, what is the biggest difference?
Yeah, so what we were saying is when we were back in corporate jobs and, flashback like 6 years ago, right? Because we've been out traveling for the last 5 years.
Nuts.
And the big distinction or the thing that really, contrasts that period of my life with where we are today is back then I feel like life felt very constrained, like almost like I was in a box. I would go to work, I was really stressed out, I didn't take good care of myself, I didn't make very good choices. When I would get home, I'd want to go like party or see friends and I wouldn't get good sleep and all that, and so when it felt constrained, it felt very like I was boxed in. And then I felt small and more diminished and what I was realizing when we were just talking earlier is because I didn't have as much space, right? I didn't have as much space, like everything felt closed. And so there wasn't as much possibility within that space. But then you flash forward to when, we got out there and kind of early on in 2020, I mean, when the world shut down, we got out in nature and we just started hiking and we were out in Sedona. And I just remember touching a tree and being like, I am one with the universe is one with me. And it was just like, it was opening, like it opened up my whole perspective on just life in general. I started to, want that expansiveness and started to ask the bigger questions that I think when I was in my more constrained, period, I wasn't really attuned to. I wasn't thinking of those things. And so, yeah, that was the big contrast, was the being constrained and closed off and being in a self-inflicted kind of box as a metaphor to now being open and being merged with all the possibility that presents, right? Because when you're out in the world and you're interacting with nature and you're just opened up within yourself, then there's so much more possibility. There's so much more opportunity. It's easier to see that life's happening for you. And it's easier to make, choices because you have your faculties to navigate that because you got so much more expanse in space. So
I love that. And if you don't mind, I'd like to expand on it because this idea of like putting yourself in a box is, I'm going to say dear to my heart, but near to my experience. I can totally relate of feeling stuck and, it's a box that you're putting yourself in. And I think that's hard to hear, but it's a good opportunity to reflect because I think back before we really started like learning and growing and experiencing the world as we have been, I felt really stuck. Like that's what I would say. But if you looked at my life, like it didn't necessarily seem like I should feel stuck or like life was good. I'm not complaining about my life, but that feeling of being stuck. So the box that I was putting myself in, for me, it's like expectations, roles that I was playing, like hats that I was wearing and trying to be all of the things the most ideal way. And so then it talk about like there was no room, to be the best employee, the best girlfriend, the best daughter, the best friend, all these things. It's like I was just like, running around doing all this stuff. In the meantime, like exhausting myself and not really having the energy, the like zest for life that I had, because I was fulfilling or trying to like meet all of these expectations that I was placing on myself, and that didn't feel great. And I felt stuck because there just was no room. I was not allowing myself the room for like my authentic self-expression, to really get in touch with what mattered to me. And not to say that those aspects of my life weren't important. It's like I wasn't allowing myself to show up in the way that was like most fulfilling and probably true to myself. And I would say for me, that's been the biggest shift of what this expansion and traveling and creating the space to actually just be. And that's really been so rewarding, because it just feels so amazing to actually have the space. It's like you're not trying to get somewhere, you're just being where you are, and that presence is really powerful to enjoy the present of the present. I mean, it's so true. Like, you hear that as kind of cliche, but it's once you're actually able to be fully where you are and appreciate life's happening for you, and some things that don't feel so great, actually you can see how they turned out really well. That was another thing we were talking about, is like, when we first started out, we decided to go off on this journey, create that space, like the world shut down, and we literally were going to travel the world. So on the surface, most people, / including ourselves at the time, it was like, this is literally, what are the odds of this happening the exact time we made the decision? And you look back now and you can see that it totally worked out for us. And so just being able to be present and respond to what is versus reacting in how you thought it should be, I think has been a really powerful lesson for both of us.
Absolutely. I just had a realization when you were talking, when we go like this, fire up nation, we're outside the box. We're getting big.
You're right. We should have
Fire up nation!
A make-believe box and just pop out.
That's just our own self-expression of being open and feeling big and being in, call it your inner power, and just being like, standing tall and like being open to the world, be open to the universe, because you're one with the universe. The universe is one with you.
I love that.
And one other thing you said too, it's like we are human beings after all. It's really easy, and I fell in this trap. I was a human doing, just running from place to place. We listened to this song that goes, it has this lyric. It's like,
sure.
It's something about like, people are all worried about, where they're gonna go, and then they're like, and then they're worried about what they're gonna do when they get there. And it's like, so if you're constantly in a state of being somewhere else instead of being present and attuned to you're just being, right? And where you're seeing the possibility, you see the opportunity, and life is limitless as opposed to very limited in the constrained box. Man, what an awesome thing. And I think that's what I know that I am more consciously choosing now, relative to not doing in the past. And it is a choice. I mean, we all have that free will choice, and it's our choices that accumulate that really matter.
Great reminder. It is a choice. And I will say that's something that once you realize that you get to be responsible for the choices that you're making, rather than just feeling the weight of everything happening and being like, I'm just trying to, react best now. It's like the opportunities become more limitless, or they feel more expansive, because you're like, oh cool, I don't love this experience, that I don't like how this feels, or I can see it going a different way or whatever. Then it's just more of like, cool, what little shift can I make, or what choice, or how can I see this differently, or then it reminds me of going back to what questions are you asking yourself, because that becomes an invitation to how you then can respond, right? Like if you're like, why do I feel so stuck? Well, that's what you're gonna see. It's just, you're gonna find what you're looking for. So if you're like, how can I, or how can this be great? How can I, make a different choice here so that I can possibly get a different outcome? And I think that power of choice and responsibility is tough pill to swallow maybe at first if you're in like that, like, poor me mindset. But once you do see it for what it is, and you do see that how big of an opportunity it is to take full responsibility for the life that you're creating, then it's like the best game ever, because you're like, wow, maybe I'm gonna go live in Costa Rica for a couple months and explore and expand and build my business and do, whoop, there we are. No, in all seriousness, it's so cool that you get to be a powerful creator in your life and make the choices that you want.
It's the coolest, bro. And you are creating it. Just remember that. There's no good, bad, right, or wrong. You're in the driver's seat, though. So, be mindful of your thoughts, feel your feelings, but be mindful of those as well. And, and then consciously choose, like, what is it that you want for your life? I'm reminded of this meditation that we listened to, and one line from it: there's no such thing as a problem. All perceived problems are opportunities, lessons, and blessings. So there's no such thing as a problem. Just see the world as opportunity. Be big, be open, and see what that does for you. Man, we love you.
We love you.
And we'll be back with you soon.